Hey everybody, Dave Neal here, Bachelor recap host and stand-up comedian, and hey, happy Monday everybody, good to see you this Monday morning. It's the off season, baby. Spring has sprung, Easter's around the corner, the pandemic is on the way out, and your boy got 1 out of 2 vaccines. We're ready to go. All right, this story today, we have Blake Horstmann, am I pronouncing that right? Blake Horstmann reveals why he doesn't regret releasing Caelynn Miller-Keyes' texts after Bachelor in Paradise drama. Boy, that's a wordy title. I'm going to play a clip from Blake on a recent podcast episode, and I'll catch you up if you're not familiar with this story. It's from a couple of years ago. Believe it or not, it's a 2-year-old story here. But he basically felt the need to vindicate himself, where he thought the Bachelor in Paradise producers, in accordance with Caelynn's story, had created a different alternative truth, as we call it in today's post-Trumpian era. Too many big words for a Bachelor story on a Monday morning. So Blake talks about why he doesn't regret releasing the text messages, aka the receipts. I will show you guys those text messages after playing this video, but let's jump right into it. And of course, if you're new to my channel, do me a favor, it helps out the YouTube algorithm. Bump your Harrison on top of that like button and subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. And of course, with all due respect to everyone involved, or with a differencing of opinions with regards to this story, this really seems to be like a litmus test for like who you believe. Let's just remember, Bachelor creates storylines. They're not always real. And Blake was calling them out, and he actually compares his situation to Rachael Kirkconnell'S. It'll be pretty interesting. Well, let's warm up with a piece about male men crying on the show. Let's start there.
Do you regret any tears shed on The Bachelorette?
No. Like, I did shed a lot of tears. Well, honestly, just till the end. Just at the end is kind of when I did it. But no, I don't regret that. I think it's like a cool thing for men to see that like other men can cry, and it's not like a bad thing. So that's something that I've kind of embraced, So no, I don't regret that.
I love crying. I love a good tear. Watched American Idol last night. Oh my gosh. Do you guys watch American Idol? As soon as the guy comes on and they're like, you made it through to the top 24. I'm like, oh my gosh. Oh boy. All right, so let's go. She peppers them with some easy questions to get them warmed up, and she asks them the questions everyone wants to know, which is, do you regret what happened?
Overall, before I get into specific Bachelor in Paradise regrets, do you regret stepping on the beach for season 6 of Bachelor?
Gosh, there for a long time I did, but now, not really. I've become very passionate about mental health and be able to help a lot of people. Like I said, I've kind of embraced that role in Bachelor Nation, which has been pretty fun and pretty cool. And at the end of the day, like, all those people that were like, quote unquote, hurt by me, they're freaking all happy and engaged. Well, not engaged, but like in relationships and like all of that, So it's like,
very interesting. So all the people that were involved in the Blake on Bachelor in Paradise storyline are all happy. Caelynn's with Dean. They living in a van somewhere doing their thing. God bless them. Tayshia, she's queen of the world at this point. Remember Tayshia? And Hannah Godwin, she's with old Dylan boy over there. So everyone's happy.
Gone down there, like, would it have happened the way it did? I don't know. So no, I don't necessarily regret it. Yeah.
That's true. I didn't think about it that way. You played a hand. They should be thinking.
I'm the only one who's still alone, and like, I'm the only one. Brutal.
That's so good.
Christina, I guess. Christina, too, hasn't, I don't think seen
get together with Christina.
Do you regret releasing Caelynn's text messages?
No, I don't regret. And I'll never really apologize for that. Like, I'm never going to regret or apologize for defending myself, Do I wish that situation would have never happened? Do I wish there was any other way? I could have... I mean, kind of the way I look at it is, remember how, like, this season, Rachael, like, they wouldn't let Rachael put out a statement? Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of what would have happened to me, but I told him to F off. Like, I was like, no, I was like... So
he's comparing his situation to Rachael Kirkconnell'S. Now, of course, very, very different scenarios, but Rachael Kirkconnell, the story is that she was being held by producers in delaying her statement, if you will. There's no confirmation of that, but as you guys know, and a lot of contestants have alluded to, I think people just don't want to get sued, but the idea that you sign an NDA and then, you can talk whenever they tell you, not exactly true. They can talk whenever they want about certain things, but they're kind of encouraged not to, and you want to stay on their good side. I'm sure they threaten you, like, if you don't, if you talk when we're not ready, we won't invite you to Bachelor in Paradise. There's a lot of ways they can kind of sort of pull the strings on the puppetry, if you will. So with regards to Blake's situation, what he's basically saying is, if I didn't speak up when I did, this could have been a wildfire of people, sort of soft me tooing him, saying that he was responsible for playing with someone's hearts, and he was, doing certain things that he tried to prove just were not accurate.
Like, I'm gonna fight, and so no, I don't regret that. I don't, and I would do it again if I had to, and I just wish it didn't have to come to that, but it did.
Do you regret?
It really is something when he says, I wish that it didn't have to come to that, but it did. We're talking about, like, it's essentially like he pulled the nuclear codes out, and a little mutually assured destruction, mad, if you will, because he's sharing text messages that make Caelynn look really, really bad. But if he doesn't share those text messages, he looks really, really bad. In the end, she proved she didn't have his best interest, so why should he have done the same for her? And a lot of people were saying, dude, man, you shouldn't have shared those text messages. You shouldn't have done that. And his whole thing was like, I'm a human being. My character is being dragged through the mud. Let me know what you guys think about this, respectfully, because if I'm in the wrong here, please let me know. I've thought about this for several years, to be honest. My fiance and I had a big fight over this. I'm sure we're like most of you guys that watch this show. We're watching it. I'm seeing it through the aspect of this guy's just being like, they edited him to be something he was not. During their filming of Bachelor in Paradise, there was a scene where he was storming off the set, and then he says afterwards, guys, I was running to the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom, so I start running to the bathroom. He's running to the bathroom, and they just film him like he's some maniacal guy. So you have to be careful. They do this all the time with the rose ceremony, where people are looking like super stressed out, and then in hindsight they say, "Yeah, it was really cold. I was shivering, and they made a stand for a while. My feet hurt." Like, you just never know what they're gonna do. By the way, this video has just the worst background noise, background music in it ever. Really, really horrible. So anyway, in order to get us caught up on the text messages, which I will read for you in 1 second, and again, it makes Caelynn look horrible, but at the same time, I'm not a big karma guy. Like, you get what, but at the same time, she sort of went along with Bachelor's reimagining of what happened, and then I feel like Blake felt, whether it was right or wrong, Blake felt like he had no other choice but to share that info. So it's a People article. Throughout the season of Bachelor in Paradise, the two have gone back and forth about the nature of their relationship. This is Blake and Caelynn. Caelynn maintained that it was more serious than Blake said. At the beginning of the season, he received backlash after Caelynn revealed he'd hooked up with her just one day after sleeping with Christina at the Stagecoach Festival in April. Now, all things aside, two consenting adults can decide to sleep with several people several nights in a row. We're allowed to call them an F-boy or whatever you want to use as a term, but in the end of the day, consenting adults are allowed to do whatever they want with their body. So that's not the issue. So if there's anyone saying, wow, he was like, jumping around from girl to girl, not the issue, which we'll see in the receipt. During the 2-night Bachelor in Paradise premiere, Caelynn tearfully told cameras he'd called their night together a mistake and begged her to keep the tryst a secret. The audience was on her side, especially as Blake pursued 2 other women in Paradise, Tayshia Adams and Hannah Godwin. But as the episodes aired, Blake posted their text messages on his Instagram story. Their conversation seemed to debunk her story, suggesting she sought him out for sex and was just as concerned about people finding out. So just Blake didn't want it to get twisted. So this is him sharing the text messages. Let's go straight into it. Because Caelynn says, I feel like a slimy, disgusting secret that you're ashamed of. You literally told me to lie for you. Caelynn told Blake in Tuesday's episode. Blake later told the camera, it looks like Caelynn and I slept together and I bolted, and that wasn't what happened. Sometimes you try to do the right thing. I didn't want to disrespect Caelynn. I didn't want to disrespect Christina. Man, this is bad. I look like the worst human in the world. And again, in hindsight, not the end of the world, not the biggest issue, but for his own marketability post-show, for his own, ability to keep his name not, it's one thing to be accused of sleeping with 2 different girls on 2 different nights, not the end of the world. It's another thing to be accused of like being this vindictive, suavemente sort of, character. The text messages Blake released Tuesday night to try to show his side of the story. Caelynn did not immediately respond. The text messages begin with Blake telling Caelynn, let's just read the text messages. Blake is in blue. Caelynn is in gray. This is the night after Blake has slept with Christina, which shouldn't be an important part to this scenario. It's a completely different set of circumstances. I guess the question would be, does Caelynn need to know about Christina? Well, it depends on whether or not Blake is sort of coercing Caelynn to come over, which we see was not the case. Blake says, she says, dude. Blake says, dude. She says, it's fine. Chill. It'll be good. He says, no, that's not what they all say. She says, come on, loosen up. Blake says, don't tell me to chill. She says, let's just have a good time, man. It sounds like an afternoon TV special. Let's just have a good time, man. Come on, all the cool kids are doing it. Blake says, again, that's what you all say. She says, I just ordered an Uber. So, and again, I'm not saying we need to flip this and say, well, what if he was ordering an Uber to her house when she didn't give consent? The deal is that he's obviously not in fear of like being manipulated physically in a certain way, and that's where when it comes to gender roles, you have to understand like women have to deal with a certain heightened like fear that men just don't have to deal with on the regular when it comes to being taken advantage of in a either emotional or physical way. More so physical we're talking here. And again, this is sort of like kind of tough to talk about to like analyze this, but he says, again, that's what they all say. She says, I just ordered an Uber. And he's like, he told her not to show up to his place. Okay. She says, I'm sleeping in the shower. Okay. I like it in there. He says, it's unlocked. We can cuddle, but no sex. LOL. She says, yes, sex, only sex. He says, I have willpower. She says, no cuddling. Ha, lies. He says, willpower. She says, yo, we both know that's not true. He says, I know you when you get a little alcohol in you. He says, she says, say it, I dare you. He says, nope, I'm a gentleman. She says, that is very false. He blows her a kiss. She says, if I come over, it's strictly for sex. Nothing more, nothing less. And he says, that's what they all say. She says, I'm just trying to be honest, you know. And then, okay, that happens. Okay, that happened. So that alone sort of debunks her story of saying, and don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that as cavalier as that texting was, that she didn't have feelings for him, and it doesn't mean she didn't feel the feelings of being rejected. Absolutely. But what it does show is that he wasn't trying to just juggle all these different women. He literally told her not to show up, and she's like, I'm taking an Uber. He's like, all right, we'll give him a 5-star review and get over here. Blake then shifted in exchange, she says, occurred 1 week before it was time for them to head to Bachelor in Paradise. So 1 week before they were heading to Bachelor in Paradise, and again, this is pretty common with Bachelor contestants, where she was in the running to be the next Bachelorette. So there was this discussion, like, should he be the next Bachelorette? I mean, they're hooking up, but if, you know, she says she was crushed by Blake, but if she was so crushed by Blake and like in love with Blake, why would she have wanted to be the Bachelorette? So this is the conversation. He says, call me. She says, dude, I'm freaking out. He says, shoot, call you in two in the car with my parents. I'm scared. I'm thinking of pulling out of Paradise. She says, dude, I'm shaking. Who knows and how? We've been so careful. What happened? And he says, sorry, I'm going to let my phone charge for a bit and call you back. Did you talk to Cassie? She says, don't stress. We'll figure it out. Easier said than done. And then she says, can we just take the day to think? So this is essentially, again, I know this is mind-numbing content here, but this is essentially a week before Paradise, but also they are discussing whether or not to let it out of the bag that they have hooked up before. He says, what are you leaning towards? She says, I think it may be better to be honest, but I honestly don't know. He says, well, I just don't think you will feel any more comfortable. And sure, if we have another day to think, I guess let's just be honest, we effed up so bad. She says, if we play it off as not being a big deal, then it's not. Everyone hooks up in this world. So on the show, she talked about it being more than a hookup. In the text messages 1 week before the show, she says, hey, it's not a big deal. Everyone hooks up on the show. It doesn't mean she didn't have deeper feelings. I'm not saying she didn't, but by all means, it definitely, you know, because a lot of people, you believe the information you get right away, that holds more weight in most people's head because you're not overthinking it. You're going, oh yeah, Blake's a D-bag. Oh yeah, Blake took advantage of her, or Blake did this. If he didn't air out these text messages, it would have been his word versus her word, and that's not a situation in which he's going to really thrive in, if you know what I mean. He was getting a lot of hate over this. So then she says, I don't know what to do. We have a week to decide. I want to think about it for a little. He says, no, I need to tell before then so that she isn't crazy mad when she's down there. Caelynn says, I don't want to make this decision today, though. Can we wait until like Wednesday? He says, okay, Wednesday morning. Have you talked to Cassie about it? Caelynn says, yeah, her and Colton didn't say anything. Boy, times have changed, right? Cassie's with Colton at the time. She says, I really don't want to tell people, but I also don't want people finding out and looking like a liar. No, I talked to them. They just told me they don't know how anyone found out. Blake sent her a text. How you doing? Just wanted to check in. Caelynn says, I'm good, better, everything is good. He says, I feel better too. I think we're overthinking everything. I still want to talk about it all, but we will be all right. She said, same. And then she said, do you tell Hannah? He said, hi, no, not yet. Why? She says, I'm just stressing and can't stop thinking about it. I'm hoping she won't think it's a big deal. So that was it. And then Blake, he went into some conversations, and this was Blake explained his decision to share the messages in a lengthy Instagram post in an emotional video on his Instagram story. So this is what Blake said. I wanted to take time to address what is being portrayed in the episodes. I made a lot of mistakes this past year that I'm not proud of. I know some people don't think the show is real, but it is. It is very real. Everybody handles heartbreak differently, and everybody handles a public eye differently. I have a lot of insecurities I've been struggling with and lost myself this year. I've gone way in over my head with women, and I've made a lot of mistakes, and although never my intent, I hurt several people along the way. I felt a lot of shame and have been in a dark place for a while now, and especially these last few months. It's still something I'm working through. I take full responsibility for my actions at Stagecoach and will forever regret the decisions I made that weekend. The women involved did not deserve that. I realize now that I hurt these women, and I deeply regret that. I've done a lot of self-reflection since, and I've learned a lot from my mistakes. This is the last thing I wanted to do, but my name and character are being attacked. My name is all I really have, he said in the post. Most of all, it is the only real way to prove that what is being said by Caelynn in the story that is being shown is far from the truth. I'm deeply sorry for my actions at Stagecoach, but telling the world that I silenced a woman amongst many other harmful accusations was just too much. I hope Caelynn can forgive me one day. I'm not trying to go and attack Caelynn. I'm just trying to get my truth out there. And that's what it comes down to, folks. And again, I feel like people don't talk about this nearly enough because as a guy, you don't want to look like you're not believing women. You want, at the bare minimum, to believe people's stories. What happens with shows like The Bachelor is Bachelor will put their foot on the scale of an opinion and create something out of something else. So because Bachelor producers were involved with this, because they edited his story and added words to his mouth and showed video of him running away, that's what they do. If it's an over-the-shoulder shot and you don't see words come out of someone's mouth, those words could have been taken and clipped together. They get very clean audio, which means they can literally slice words and put things out of context together in ways that they didn't belong. And they create a storyline that showed Blake to be a liar that he was not. Oh, I'm getting a phone call right now. All right, that means I got to get out of here. Let me know what you guys think about all this. And my couch is here. If you guys want to follow me, hold on. Let me just answer this. Hello? Hello?
Hi, this is Ryder Delivery.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, we're right outside the house.
Okay, I'll come out right now.
Okay.
Thanks so much. Bye. Okay, my couch is here. If you guys, I ordered a couch today. If you guys want to follow along, I've got a vlog channel right here that I just started out, and I'm going to be vlogging my new home setup, my wedding as we planned for it, and stand-up comedy and life living in Hollywood. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment. I got to go. I got a couch showing up. Oh, check out my Instagram. I'll post the footage today. Tons of fun. I've lived in my new apartment for 28 days, living off of a beach chair, and finally the couch shows up. See you guys later.